Welcome, CNG 124, 2 week number 8. We are now at the halfway point, or a little bit past the halfway point of the course. Um, and let's see, this week we're working on building was it a hub network or switch network? We're working on building a switch network. So we took a look at a hub last week, and when you did that ping in Packet Tracer, you're able to see that one packet, well, it was really four packets at the end, but you could see how each packet, as it went into the hub, was broadcast out of every port except for the original port in that hub. So if you can imagine way back in the, let's see, 90s, early 2000s, um, how internet traffic was just slow, and then you add that on top of it, how much extra stuff that we had to deal with when computers were talking. This week, we're going to take a look at that switch network, and there's the packet tracer file for you. We're going to look at how the switch interacts with one ping. And you're going to see, like, we're going to be like, whoa, that is completely different, but we can still achieve the same. We can have a broadcast storm with a switch if a network is set up incorrectly. And I do think you'd get as when you go through the reading, you're going to see a cue of that as you go through the reading. We work on subnetting 4. Make sure that you have this down. Um, if you don't have it down, you and I schedule a call so we can kind of work on it together. Subnetting 4, I believe we jump into other classes. Um, so we get to practice A's, B's, and C's. And if it loads up here. But just remember that it's exactly the same thing, even though it may look different. I thought I clicked the download. Even though it looks a little different, it's the exact same of what you're doing. It just looks yeah, just looks different. That's all it is. But it's the exact same bit counting, bit borrowing that you're used to. Um, so don't get afraid. Write out those dashes. Figure out the class, write out the dashes, and you will be good to go. Make sure you count the bits you borrowed. Make sure you know what's left. That's usually what ties everybody up. Make sure there should be a default, know what the default subnet mask is, and then what your subnet mask is going to be. Um, the slide way back, this is week 8, so the slide back in week 5 that shows the bits borrowed and number of host bits. That's a really good example to use. When I give you where is it at? Make sure you look at what type of class it is and where the starting bits are. It's probably going to be your most helpful way to do it. Some of these IP addresses, they'll take a little bit of counting, but there are ways to kind of find where that address is at rather quickly. And I'll do that in a follow-up video after I see a few of these come in. But this is really a test to, am I really getting it? Am I going off track? But this one will kind of show me exactly where you guys are at. And if you can't get these in soon, that's be most helpful. I'll turn around and get them to you the best I can. This week I take off for Milwaukee late Wednesday night, and I won't get back until Sunday. Um, but I will have my Surface on me for that trip. Uh, what else are we doing this week? I don't know. Network. We're looking at the network layer for next week. I think we have something big coming up next week. Um, yeah. So next week we have to make sure that we understand subnetting, because that's when we're actually going to start diving into um, looking at packet tracer and learning to configure packet tracer. And what the cool thing here is, even though it says like 1941, the 1941s will have an end of life of I think 2023. But once you've learned the commands in Cisco, those commands can translate to any Cisco router, and you will be okay. The 1941 is very basic looking, so when you see it and you get used to what the outside is, um, basically it's represented in the digital environment in Packet Tracer exactly the same. So seeing a real life picture versus a packet tracer picture, you're going to be looking at the same thing. So next week when we dive into that, be prepared for working in the packet tracer environment from week 9 out. But this week, make sure you have a good grasp on subnetting 4 and jumping through multiple classes, A's, B's, and C's, because that's really the difficult part will be, okay, I understand working with a C, can I translate that to working with an A and a B? Have a good week. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to watch the homework videos and get back to me.